I'm Kamala Rajendra. I actually grew up in the Brickfields area. If you remember that area, it's Rosario Street. Parallel to it is Chinatown Street, and both the streets will eventually meet up in Temple Road. And Rosario Street was a street between the Ashram and the first block of 10 houses. And we lived in the 10th house in the first row. So when we open our front door, the first thing I see is the Vivekananda Ashram opposite. And I still remember those days, my father and probably his contemporaries also didn't have the finance to buy their own newspaper. But the ashram buys all the papers. And they'll come back from work, have a shower, go straight to the ashram to read the papers and discuss with each other the world affairs and so on. And for us children, the whole point of our out-of-school activities was centered around the ashram. And the Sangeeta Abhivruddhi Sabha behind it.
That's right.
It's still there.
Yes.
We used to go every Sundays for Sunday classes on religious themes. And we used to be taught to sing the Theravadams, which are the Hindu hymns. And then of course the Sabha was there for our music. And our whole, it was that complex was the center of our entire cultural life.
Excellent. Excellent.
And I've lived there for the first 18 years of my life. I think 15 years was spent in Brickfields.
So every day there was something happening there then?
Every day, in that sense that the men will meet and discuss and things like that. But for the children, in school holidays time, there'll be something every day.
Right.
But on the other days, every Sunday we were there to study religious songs and lectures and so on.
And was it at that time also used, say, for weddings and the halls?
No. Those days, most of the weddings were held in the houses.
That's right.
Yes, they will hold it in the houses, put up a tent, small tent, and it was in the houses. I can't really remember a wedding being held there.
Yes. I see.
That area was simply for cultural and religious.
And now, for so many years now, the ashram actually has been under lock and key.
Yes, that's the saddest part of it, I think.
Yes.
Partly, I think we Sri Lankans are to be blamed for it. We've got so interested in so many other things, studies and so on, and that we never really took interest in upkeeping the ashram.
But should that not have been the trustee's responsibility technically to move this, to come back to the community?
Yes. Instead of putting the blame entirely on them, we also should think it was put up by our forefathers and we should have done something about it. Yes. Instead of leaving it entirely in the trustees' hands.
I was told that there were 2 previous attempts to develop that site.
Yeah.
I think the last one was in 2003.
I remember.
Can you tell us something?
I can't really remember, but I do remember when they had a meeting in the ashram and people went to protest there, and nothing much came out of it though.
Right. But there was sufficient progress.
There was, and then it died down completely.
Right.
And suddenly it has come up again.
And has the ashram been under lock and key since then, or even before that?
I really couldn't tell you.
Okay.
What exactly was the situation there.
And what are your feelings on this proposed development, Doctor?
It seems so sad that such an old building and such a revered man, Vivekananda, is known known all over the world as a guru. It seems such a shame to put it in the shade of a 24-story block, as it were. Not to mention, the nightmare traffic it will be at the end of it.
True. And are you a member of the...
No, I'm not. It's not easy to become a member. My brother was trying to get in, but he couldn't. He applied a few times.
And when did you move out of the place? Do you remember at what age?
Yes, I left in 1950. I sat for my senior candidate. 51 I left to do my... Probably your mother wasn't born then. 51 I left for university. My parents left that area in 52 or 53 when my father retired.
It's like the elements are also expressing their displeasure at the development.
But actually they could do so much there. Instead of putting a 24-story building, put up a 3-4-story building, have our weddings there now since we are booking around. Sometimes it's so difficult to get a hall booked for a wedding. They could do so much more with it and yet keep it within the community and the culture.
And within the objectives of
the
trust.
What was originally it was meant for.
Many people have expressed that we could develop it, but more as a cultural center, spiritual center, rather than change the whole meaning behind the institution. The
ashram used to be held for like competitions, hymn singing competition, all this sort of children. But the Sabha was a really active school behind it. I remember 3 times a week after school we will go straight to Sabha and study music, the theory of music, and I studied till my junior Cambridge I was in it. Because those days they didn't allow the daughters to dance, but they all went to study music.
I see. Okay. What is to end this one? What is your message to the newer generation, the younger generation, with regards to the ashram? What do you expect them to do?
It will be good if they took an interest in it and get it back to where our forefathers really meant it to be. It will help us to keep our own identity in this country. I hate to say this, but my grandchildren can't speak Tamil or understand very little Tamil. Maybe we could do something to remedy that and get them into the cultural side of life.
There is a need for the ashram to work. It has